I want to start by thanking the BBC for letting me be on the show. It's like really awesome that they did. I mean, it doesn't pay that well, but it's just really cool to be here. And they've been so generous. They put me up in a hotel right next to a casino in the city, and they didn't have to do that. I'm not criticizing the BBC. It's not their responsibility to know that I have a gambling addiction, because it's about self-knowledge. And when I go to the casino, I only bring the equivalent of $100 to gamble with because I know I can afford to lose that. And I bring $25 for food in case I get hungry and $800 for bus fare in case I forget something and have to go home a couple hundred times. It's quite a long flight out here, and of course I didn't get to board the airplane first because I don't travel with small children. The people who do travel with small children, they go on before anybody else. It's a nearly universal airline policy, and it's totally unfair. I mean, it's not fair at all. Never mind that I've spent the better part of a quarter of a century flying on the same airline, trying to earn enough status, enough loyalty, that maybe I could board the airplane first. Never mind that. Because that guy right over there made a single bad decision 3 years ago. So roll out the red carpet for His Majesty. And I'm not having to go at kids or parents. In fact, it's in defense of children. Little kids don't want to be jammed on the airplane right away. Small children do not enjoy air travel. And they've been making this abundantly clear for as long as I can remember. In fact, the airline should reverse the policy. They should say, small children stay at the airport till the last minute. They should say, anybody without small children, you may now board the airplane first, that you might enjoy a short moment of zen. Then the attendant would guide us like, okay, everybody just breathe in and release. Okay, here they come. I think I'm ready for this. But I also want to admit, in the interest of being open-minded, that I don't know why the kids got aboard first. And maybe there's a really good reason why the kids got aboard first that I don't know about, because I don't get to go on there with them. So I don't know what they do in there. I mean, maybe they got to do like a pre-flight sound check. I'm serious. Maybe they get on the airplane and they're like, wah, wah. Is that good in the back? Can you hear that? Is that sufficiently piercing? Okay, I'm almost ready to let them on. I just want to do a couple seat-kicking warm-ups real quick here first. Check my distance. Get the volume up on that iPad. Turn the volume up on that iPad real good. I want people on the ground to hear me playing Angry Birds. You guys ever worry about the world? I get worried. I watched a documentary recently about how much the pollution from humans is destroying the environment. And after I watched that, I was so upset I couldn't even talk. I just had to go for a really long drive by myself and just think about shit. Alone in my Winnebago. Windows down, air conditioning up. A little bit of hairspray, because when I'm looking good, I'm feeling good.
I've got the memory of an elephant. I remember one time I went to the zoo and saw an elephant. I was disappointed to find that Dunkirk wasn't actually a biography of William Shatner. I accidentally kicked my dog early and it bit me on the bollocks. My mate said it's karma. I said, no, if anything, it's even more angry. I tell you what always catches my eye, short people with umbrellas. I put on a lot of weight, so I rang up Weight Watchers. I said, it's an emergency, can you send somebody round? And they said, yes, we can, we got loads of them. I was actually thrown out of Weight Watchers for making sarcastic comments at the weekly weigh-in. As you can imagine, I accepted the decision with huge grace because they threw her out as well. I was watching TV, the announcer said there's a documentary about the clitoris on the red button, but I couldn't find it. I was in a fancy lingerie shop. I said, are these knickers satin? He said, no, they're new. I didn't know what to get my little niece for Christmas, so I asked my sister what she's into. Apparently at the moment she's mad about frozen stuff, so I got her some oven chips and peas. It's been a tough week. I got myself a memory foam mattress and now it's trying to blackmail me. As a child, I was made to walk the plank. We couldn't afford a dog. I went on a positive thinking course. It was shit. You would be. And it was half empty. The area in a Nando's between the front and back door is called the peri-perineum. What I like most about that joke is that people who know what a perineum is usually haven't heard of Nando's. Ironically, there's only a very small overlap between the two. The doctor told me to lose some weight. I said, how? He said, don't eat anything fatty. I said, what, pies, chips, that sort of thing? He said, no, just don't eat anything fatty. Old lady names are very much back in fashion at the minute, like Lily or Elsie or Rose, and we wanted something like that for our daughter, but we couldn't decide, so in the end we just called her Nan. So we should grow into it.
As much as you want to save animals, I'm pretty sure you're not going to do it by buying cosmetics. Pretty sure you can't walk into the body shop and buy some burdock root peppermint oil foot scrub, and some little badger somewhere in Scotland is going to go, wow, I feel a whole lot better about my life right now. Somebody's buying that burdock root peppermint oil foot scrub. I don't see the point in testing cosmetics on rabbits anyway, because they're already cute. Slather some lip gloss and eyeliner all over them. Now they're all gussied up like some $3 whore. There's no dignity in that for a rabbit whatsoever. You want to test out cosmetics? Test them out on big game, because they stink. Get up under a hippopotamus there and get some roll-on deodorant under his armpit. See how fresh and self-assured he stays all day, huh? Little lip gloss on a beaver. A real beaver. Stay with me, fella. Real beaver. Right? Dam-building, log-eating beaver. If he's charged through 60 logs and he's still wearing that lip gloss, that's some damn good lip gloss right there, ladies and gentlemen. You know this whole thing about, you ever meet someone famous and you tell your friends, and then they say, well, what was he like? Because all they really want to hear is that he was a prick. So they like to say Tom Cruise is the nicest guy in Hollywood. And I always think, well, if I was making $8 million a film, I'd be nice too. Jesus Christ. But I'm not sure he is that nice. Because I always read these articles about how he's so insular and he's into his Scientology and he, stays at a hotel, won't make eye contact with anyone in the hotel because he doesn't want to talk about the plots to his new films. Apparently, as if staring Tom Cruise in the face, he would just crack under pressure. What are you staring at? Hey, you want to hear about my new film? You seen a Tom Cruise film like he couldn't figure out the plot in about 18 seconds? Oh, Christ. He's a cocktail maker. He's a pretty good cocktail maker, too. Till he has a crisis of confidence and can't make cocktails anymore. Then he meets a good-looking woman who talks him into being a better cocktail maker. A riveting piece of cinema that was. Then he's a race car driver. Pretty good race car driver, too. Till he has a crisis of confidence. Can't race cars anymore. Then he meets a good-looking woman who talks him into being a better race car driver. Then he's a jet pilot. Some of you are starting to see a pattern emerge here. Pretty good jet pilot? Yes, he was. Until he had a crisis of confidence, couldn't fly jets anymore. Then I believe he met a good-looking woman who talked him into being a better jet pilot. Then he was a sports agent. Then he was the brother of a retarded guy. He was a pretty good brother of a retarded guy until he had a crisis of confidence and wasn't so sure he was such a good brother of a retarded guy. And then he met a good-looking woman. He talked him into being a better brother of a retarded guy. Then he was some kind of, I don't know what he's in now, War of the Worlds. Maybe he fights the world. You know what? I bet he's a pretty good world fighter. But at some point, he'll probably have a crisis of confidence. You're going to meet a good-looking woman who convinces him it's okay to fight the world. Could be a Scrabble player for all I care. He's a pretty good Scrabble player. Until he draws all vowels. Has a crisis of consonants. And he meets a lovely Welsh woman who teaches him a lot of words he's never heard before.
It's lovely to be here. I've come all the way from Brighton. Just in case you're wondering what this haircut is about. Might be a new face for some of you people. Don't panic, the BBC invited me here because they needed a beige lesbian. So I'm just here to tick some boxes. Not your box, madam, just a metaphorical box. I'm half Spanish, that's what's happening there. I've got a Spanish mum, and she lives here in the UK. It's all very legal. She's lived longer in the UK than she's ever lived in Spain, but the brilliant thing about my mum is that she's never lost her accent. She talks very, very quickly. She lost the words she cannot pronounce. Lost the words she cannot pronounce, huh? My favourite word that my mum's never been able to pronounce is my brother's name. Not even a difficult name, his name's Stephen. I don't know if you've noticed this, Spanish people, any word that begins with the letter S, they struggle, right? So my mum doesn't call him Stephen, she calls him Steven. What's his name, Mum? Steven. Is it? Isn't it just Stephen? Even if I know his name is my son, it is Steven! You don't want to mess with my mum. She's not like British people here in this country. We can be quite passive-aggressive, can't we? She's just very aggressive woman. I don't know how my mum's never really coped in this country, and I think it's because, like a lot of Mediterranean people, she's quite loud, yeah? She's got one volume, it's like this. Hello! How are you? Whereas in this country, particularly if we're middle class, we tend to be low talkers, don't we? We don't like to raise our voices, do we? Why? Because we've got money. And we just assume that if you are raising your voice, well, you're probably poor. Or worse, foreign. Great thing about having a Mediterranean mum is they feed you. Oh, my God. She's always feeding. That's her way of showing that she loves her children, is to feed us. You know, I can remember going around friends' houses, you know, like English mums. Go around an English mum's house and the conversation with mum's more like this. I think you've had enough. My mum will feed you till you puke. Anything can be going on in my life and my mum will relate it back to a meal that she's cooked. Do you know what I mean? Like, so good or bad, particularly if I'm depressed. If I phone up my mum and I've had a terrible day, yeah? I phone up my mum, conversation always goes like this. Oh, Jennifer, my God, I'm so sorry to hear that you're having a hard time right now. But you know what? Don't worry, okay? I made a soup. Come home. You sound hungry. I made a chicken curry, I made a lamb tagine, I made a casserole, Jennifer. I made some tortillas, some paella, some curry, Jennifer. You love the curry. Maybe some meatballs, some pork ball, beef ball, aniseed ball, banana ball. You're a lesbian. You don't eat enough balls. Please, come home. Eat my balls.
They say it's hard, you know, bringing kids up is difficult. They say kids these days are influenced by these new hyper-violent computer games. And that's nuts, isn't it? If we've been influenced by the computer games from our childhood, we'd have to go around going like, beep. Rubbish, wouldn't it? No one would play with that kid with beep, beep. Can I be in your gang? No, you're a bit weird, mate, to be honest. Imagine being influenced by Pac-Man. You'd have to like walk round in a darkened room munching pills and listening to repetitive music. The younger people laughing and clapping, the older ones going, who is this Pac-Man you speak of? It's not one of the rough boys from the estate, is he? There were some rough kids where I live, and they're not being rough, they're just being confusing. You know, you come out of your house, they go, yeah, your mum makes gravy for leopards, innit? Yes, I believe she does. She does a lot of charity work. These are scary kids. Even the dirty old men are scared of these kids. See him turn up in their car, put the window down, like, hello, little boy, do you want a sweet? The kid's like, what sort of sweets have you got? Said it best be good if you come on here and trouble me with your sweetie talk, right? You don't want any mojo or drumstick rubbish, you get me? You must have a serious sweetie offer for me, boy. Blokes panicking. I was like, well, I've got bonbons. I wasn't sure what to bring, to be honest. Dib-dab there, and wham-bar. Wham-bar, your sweets are rubbish, man, shut up. No. Wham-bars used to be big like that. Now they're small, innit? So you're gonna have to do better than a wham-bar if you want to see my dick, right? Hey, man, look at your car driving a Saab. You got no pride. Get out, you wham-bar, bitch. Next pervert, please. What kind of sweets have you got, sweaty? What do you mean, Neverland? Yeah. But we live in exciting times anyway, you know. It's very exciting being in London, you know. The Olympics. Fantastic. We didn't really want the Olympics till we heard France might get it. The British people are, oh no, all that running and jumping. It's not really for us, is it? When is it? No, I'm busy that week. What? France are gonna get it? Bollocks, we'll have it. Only in London would we have to have a poster campaign saying back the bid. No, fuck off, it'll be rubbish. Don't you think that's a bizarre response to that question? Like, would you like the oldest, most historically significant athletic competition the world has ever known, attracting athletes from every known nation on the face of the planet to come here and perform at the peak of their abilities in the very city where you live? Most British people go, where will we park? You know, because it's all residents round here. There's others going, no, man, the tubes will be packed, you get me? People getting on the underground with, like, javelins and shit. No. Coming in the escalator with a shot put, health and safety, boy. And there's a whole other section of British society going, you what? The Olympics? Let a load of foreigners in? Huh? Ones that can run and jump and swim, you let them in, you'll never fucking catch them. Huh? Place to be overrun with Lycra refugees. You're having a laugh, ain't you, mate? They'll peel them little numbers off their jackets. You watch them, they're sneaky. I read about it in the Mail.
And this is what I'm talking about. The assumption that if you're in a place like that, you obviously are the help. Okay, example 2. That's it, white people. One more example, and then we're moving on, right? I'm on tour in the UK. I'm going up to Leeds. All my team was already up in Leeds setting up the theatre. I'm travelling with my tour manager and best friend, Lila, also a black woman. So I go, you know what? That's Lila. I go, you know what, Lila? Let's not drive. It's a long drive. Let's get a train and go up in comfort. So we rush down to the train station. I buy us 2 first-class tickets. There's a train leaving, so we jump on the train takes off. And we're walking through the train towards the first-class carriage. We walk into the first-class carriage. This white woman is sitting at a table. She looks up, she sees us, and at the top of her voice, she shouts, this is first class! Now Lila goes, what the fuck did you say? And I hold Lila, no, Lila, no. I just grab her by her collar. No, Lila, no. No, Lila. No, Lila, no. No. Watch me humiliate this bitch just with my mouth. Come back. So at the top of my voice, I say, thank you, lady. But what was it about us that made you assume that we didn't belong in the first-class carriage? She starts to fumble. Everybody on the train just kind of leans out from behind their seats. And she gets flustered. She's like... And then all she could think of was like, I thought you were lost. And I was like, how'd you get lost on a moving train going in one direction, bitch? How? Now, this woman was not alone. She was with her husband. Her husband was sitting opposite her at the table, same table. But we did not see her husband's face for this entire confrontation because the entire time he was hidden behind the newspaper, just... His hands never came down. All we saw were his knuckles just gripping that paper. And they were in their 60s. So they'd obviously been married a long time, and he's behind that newspaper going, ah! Nosy, big-mouth cow! 30 years we've been married, and every day of those 30 years I've said, mind your own fucking business! And now we're both gonna get beaten up by these two black boys.
I am quite impressed at the number of sports that have been adapted for disabled people, though. It's nice that they are so inclusive these days. I reckon we should go further and adapt versions of classic board games as well. You could play a very special edition of Guess Who, where all the characters had disabilities. No one would ever win, because everyone would be too afraid to describe their character in case they caused offense. The questions would be fun as well. Is your person incontinent? Does your person have crayon around his mouth? Does your person have trouble speaking properly? Is your person Danny Dyer? You could also have a disabled version of Monopoly, where every space is just free parking. Speaking from the personal experience of a bloke with a disability, I think that the dating game is much harder for people like myself. I've tried speed dating. That didn't work. By the time I'd typed out a sentence, it's time to move on to the next person. And I'm not looking for sympathy either. I'm just using emotional blackmail to try to get someone to sleep with me. I'll be in the bar afterwards, if any of you are interested. Yes, even you, sir. One of the main problems I have with dating is that I find it hard to approach girls in the traditional sense. I don't have the ability to chat up a woman. When I meet a girl, I have to type them up. And that just sounds wrong. You type up your dissertation, you type up your will, and you type up your letter to your grandma. There's nothing sexy about being typed up. Even if there was, when you're typing excitedly to a woman, and accidentally spell something wrong, autocorrect is a ducking nightmare. For example, I once asked a girl if she had a pen I could borrow, so I could write down her number. I didn't expect it to say, "Can I borrow your penis?" So you can imagine my surprise when she pulled it out right in front of me. It's at this point in my set when I like to remind people that I'm not related to Stephen Hawking in any way. In fact, the closest I have ever come to being Hawking is when I went to see The Theory of Everything at the cinema. It's the movie about Stephen Hawking and his life. I didn't go to watch it, though. I just went so that I could sit at the back, say random sentences on my iPad, and fuck with the rest of the audience.
You know toe rings? They are rings that we wear on our toes. Then we have rings, earrings, rings people wear in their ears, yeah? Eyebrow rings, nose rings, belly button rings. But these ones, rings. Because if these ones were called finger rings, make weddings pretty awkward. With this fingering, make proposal stories really awkward. Oh my God, so last night, John came over and out of nowhere just gave me the most incredible fingering. I know! I'm so happy. I mean, he asked my dad's permission first, obviously. And my dad was like, you go for it, son, you give her that fingering. And he came over, and he looked at one knee and he said, darling, I want to give you this fingering. It's the same fingering that my grandfather gave to my grandmother. Also make Lord of the Fingerings, very different film. Okay. There is no one hearing that. Just keep learning. Life's about learning, guys. I will share with you another big thing I learned this year. Very exciting. I learned showering with a partner is not sexy. That does not seem like a big deal, but the world tells you it is sexy. But you try that shit once, and you very quickly discover that showering with a partner is not sexy. Showering with a partner is taking turns being cold. Oh, yeah. A lot of do-si-do action, a lot of, let's move around this way. Oh, why? Because I'm goddamn freezing. I'm freezing. And a lot of kissing like this. But mainly, as I get older, I just keep finding out shit that I'm wrong about. Like, you grow up and you go, I know these things, I'm sure, and then wrong. The last time I was in your lovely country, I was on one of your lovely overland trains. You know, the ones that have the toilets with the electronic science fiction doors that go whoosh, whoosh. Now, I was sure I knew how to lock those. Nah, turns out I know how to shut them, yeah. And 12-year-old boys on the other side know how to push the open button. And I don't know if you've ever been sat on the toilet when the door opens, but look, it's everything you dream it will be. And a little bit more. Now, the thing with those doors is they take quite a long time to open. So I was desperately trying to find the close button, eventually found the close button, but the thing is, as they take quite a long time to open, similarly, take quite a long time to close. So I got to maintain eye contact with an understandably horrified 12-year-old boy. His face was being very slowly covered. It was kind of like this. And it finally shut. I sat back down and went, oh my God, I am never wearing a jumpsuit again.
If I'm totally honest with you, though, I think Christmas comes around a little bit too quick, you know? Another Christmas, another load of presents that I've got to sit down on the floor and try and play with my daughter. I'm still working on the jigsaw from last year. It's a 48-piecer, you know? I've done 5 edges, but, you know, it's a long-term project. I do find it difficult sometimes, you know, being a dad in the dark. It has its complications. When she was little, like little, she loved going to the farm. I hated the farm. Do you know what the farm is to me? Just a series of fences over which are different smells of shit. She was like, what animal's that one, Daddy? I was like, I have no idea, sweetheart, but it smells worse than the last one. Not as bad as the first 2. And then she turned like 4. She loved going down the park and kicking a ball around. I couldn't commit myself without destroying people's picnics. She was big into hide and seek for a while. The problem with that was every game came with a very real possibility that she might die of dehydration while she's waiting for me to find her. I mean, we did play it. We live in a 2-bedroom flat. We've got this big, vast communal garden out the back. You know, I remember us playing it out there. She was 4, playing it outside, just putting a little show on for the neighbours. She ran off to hide because she hadn't yet realised that she didn't actually need to hide. She just needed to be quiet, really, didn't she? I mean, she could have just stayed there. But she ran off to hide. And it wasn't a quiet hide, it was a giggly hide. The game was I had to follow the giggling till I found the giggling behind a tree, and then I had to chase the giggling back to where we started from. And then she'd say, OK, Daddy, your turn to hide now, Daddy. I said, well, I can't, can I, sweetheart? Because I can't see where I'm going to go and hide, because I can't see where to hide, so I can't hide, can I? She said, that's OK, Daddy. I'll show you where to hide. You can hide where I hid. And she took me hand at the age of 4 years old, and she guided me across this big, vast communal garden over to the tree where she'd been hiding. And just as we were approaching the tree, she walked me straight into this bird table. Stuck in the ground, came up to about here. I've lived in that flat for 10 years. I've no bloody clue how long that bird table's been there for. It knocked the wind out of me. I took a few steps backwards. Without batting an eyelid, she just took me hand. She placed it around the far side of the tree where she'd been hiding, and she just looked up at me. And she just said, I hid here, Daddy. But I didn't walk into that, did I? Like, that was my fault. Like, she wasn't the one entirely in charge of the safety of both of us at just the age of 4. But then she turned 5, and all of a sudden it was all about the art and the drawing and the colouring in. Daddy, come and draw with me, Daddy. I mean, on a brighter note, it's a lot safer than hide and seek. Just constant, no, Daddy, come and draw with me, Daddy. I think the bottom line is what she's realised is that my shit makes her shit look better.
I've made a list of pros and cons, because I've been spending a lot of time in brothels and prisons. Made a list of pros and cons, always good, give you a bit of balance, Con, complete loss of all feelings of hope and possibility. It doesn't sound very good, does it? It doesn't sound much fun, does it? Pro, increased plug socket access. 1-1. I say increased, it's actually total plug socket access. I've got 32 plug sockets in my house. Each and every one of them is now under my sole domain. Con, all experiences that formed the basis of my happiness and sense of self-worth are now destroyed by grief. Downer! A bit of a downer, isn't it? Pro, less recycling. I can fit it all in the green box now. It's remarkable when you take into account just how much I'm drinking. Oh, John, you're meant to heat mulled wine. All right, Your Highness, hand me the bottle and leave. Con, I'm gonna lose me house. Bit of fun. Pro, 25% off council tax. I was on that like a ferret. Dialing as the door slammed. And that's us fresh out of cons. The rest are just pros, guys. Yeah. Increased freezer space, all 4 drawers. Cheaper gas and electric. Reduced wear and tear on fixtures and fittings. And when I say reduced, I don't mean by half, because I was only ever responsible for about 10% of scuffs and spills. So we're looking at a net reduction of 90% in real terms. This is my favourite one. Ultimate control over where the iPhone charger cable is and why it is there. There was a time it would take hours to answer the questions, where is the iPhone charger cable and why is it there? Not anymore. Plugged in next to the bed, most convenient place to have it. Simple. Is it unplugged in the bathroom? No, it's not. It'd be a ludicrous place to keep it. There's no plug socket in the bathroom. Is it in the front pocket of a rucksack you no longer use? That'll be the last place you look. That'll be very frustrating. Is it plugged in on a train we have alighted from? No. It's plugged in next to the bed because that's the most convenient place to have it.
Let's lighten the mood a little bit. Let's talk about terrorism. Terrorism... Listen, one of my main issues with terrorism is simple, all right? It's got people that have known me my entire life doubting my credibility, all right? It's mad thing. And I want to let you know, all right? You guys are a little bit worried at the moment. I'll make it explicit for you. I am not a member of ISIS, all right? I'm not, okay? I have nothing to do with those people. I don't follow their ideology. That's because I've got 6 months left on my Al-Qaeda membership. I'm a lot... Where did they go? My gosh. I'm going to get some water, all right? Flipping it. It was a bad choice wearing this heavy-ass jacket, you know what I mean? And you know what, actually? Ooh, it's squirting all over the place. I tell you what is the biggest threat to Muslims on the face of the planet today, all right? Dehydration. We cannot carry around clear liquids in a bottle anywhere, all right? Exactly. Dying up here on this stage, dying in airplanes, stressing me out. But the thing about, listen, hey, can I pop this here? Bruv, can you have that? Thank you, my G. One of the worst things about terrorism is how it's got people doubting my credibility. People I've known my whole life, all right? I want to give you an example. I've got a neighbor, okay? She's called Maud. She's known me for 27 years. And because of the media narrative, the way that the media portrays Muslims, minorities, Black Lives Matter, the world is very divisive. Who in this room just wants to live and get along? Make some noise. Exactly, we all want to, all right? But the media has got people doubting me, all right? So I've had my neighbor 27 years. We've got it's a nice, simple thing. It's a neighborly thing to do, all right? A regular Friday wheelie bin ritual. We grab the wheelie bin, drag it down to the end of the driveway, have a quick natter, go back in. It's what neighbors do, innit? It's what neighbors do, all right? This particular Friday, Maud is like clockwork, but she was late. And I'm thinking, rah, is Maud okay? I hope she's all right. Usually she's like, the bin was stinking of shit, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna be a good neighbor and have this conversation. Boom. 3 minutes later, boom! She kicks open the door. She's stressed. She's flustered. I said, Maud, is everything okay? She says, now, Gus, everything is far from all right. Have you seen the news? I'm like, listen, Maud, a lot of my cousins are on there. I don't watch that shit. You know that. Bring back a lot of bad memories for me, Maud. She says, Gus, it's the ISIS. I-Z-I. She's from Birmingham. That's how she spells it. It's the ISIS. They've been doing terrible bloody terrorisms again, them lot. I was like, yo, Maud, listen, that's bad. I don't agree with those people, and, you know, I hope they're brought to justice. She says, you say that, Guzzy, yeah? But you got to tell me something, babes. You're nothing like them, are you? I said, what? Maud, you know me 27 years, baby. I'm nothing like them. Stop buying into the media narrative. Stop buying into the news. I'm me, Guz, your neighbour. She says, I know you say that. It's just that from very specific angles. This is a very Bin Laden look you've got going on there. I say, hey, I don't even look like that guy. Very racist. She says, Guz, I know, I'm just being silly. But you just do me one more favour though, babes, okay? It's just more for my rod, really, yeah? If you hear anything about it before the news does, just let me know.
Oh, we have a great show for you tonight. We have a fantastic show. Very funny comedians. I know funny. Very funny. People always ask me who I think is funny. That's the number 2 question I get asked as a comedian. The number 1 question I get asked as a comedian is, have you ever died? As soon as you tell someone you're a comedian, first thing they want to know, oh, you ever died? Oh, what's it like when no one laughs? Oh, tell us about the worst gig you've ever had in your life. Please, relive for me, in minute detail, the worst moment of your professional career. Have you ever really died? It's like saying to a doctor, tell us about the last patient you lost. What happened? With the family crying. I bet they were they? Yeah. People are such ghouls. It's the number 1 question. Have you ever died? Number 2 question, though, is what makes you laugh? People always want to know that from me. Who do you think is funny? And that's a nicer question. That's more understandable. You know, I make people laugh. People want to know what makes me laugh. In the same ways you might say to your hairdresser, who cuts your hair? Or you might say to someone in an Audi, who do you think drives like a cock? I like that joke. It's a short joke, it's a sharp joke, and also with that joke, I get to spot every Audi driver in the room. I can just see it there. Pinched expression on your face there. All right, no need to be like that about it. I've done well for myself. It's a very reliable machine. And the fact that I can tell you're an Audi driver by the expression on your face means technically you've just given a form of indication. So well done. Good for you. Who knew you could do it? Yeah. Have you ever died? Who do you think is funny? You always get asked the same questions. That's what I don't like doing interviews. I love doing this job. This is great. I love standing here talking to you, though. But doing interviews, it's a necessary evil. It's part of the job. I having to answer questions. And I don't even like watching interviews. You'd rather watch a comedian tell jokes than talk about how they wrote them. You'd rather watch a singer sing songs than talk about their inspiration. You'd rather watch a sports person do their sport. You'd certainly rather watch a sports person do their sport. Come on now. Sports interviews can be turgid affairs at best. And then I hit it with my foot. You mean you kicked it? If you like. They're really interesting. They're really, and I'm not slagging sports people. It takes a great deal of single-mindedness to excel at a sport to a point where people want to interview you about it. But sports people are famous because they're good at sport, not because they're good at talking about sport. That's why you find a sports person who is good at talking about sport, the BBC will cream their knickers over them. We found a woman. She used to ride horses. That's a sport. And she's quite lively and engaging and charismatic. Put her on absolutely everything! Do not let her out of your sight. Even people I'm a fan of. Andy Murray. I love Andy Murray. Britain should be very proud of Andy Murray. He's done a lot to be proud of. He's won Wimbledon. He's Olympic gold medalist. And he put up with a lot of shit when he was, 8th best in the world? Oh, you bloody loser, you. He's done a lot to be proud of. He's won Wimbledon, he's Olympic gold medalist, he's magnanimous in victory, he's humble in defeat. And he's a big comedy fan. He's been to see me live, I've met him, lovely bloke. But Jesus Christ. I cannot listen to him drone on one more time about how he won, stroke lost another tennis match. I can't do it. Well, then I hit it to him, and he hit it back to me, and I'm very good at tennis, but he is also very good at tennis. Some days I'm better at tennis than he is, but I think what's happened today was he was slightly better at tennis than I am, and that's maybe why he won the game of the... Oh, for God's sake, man! I'm not very sporty, you can probably tell. I like hill walking. Doesn't really count as a sport. I like hill walking and camping. Proper camping, though. None of your glamping bullshit. Glamping. Derivation of the words glamorous and camping, where you stay in a yurt, which is more expensive than a hotel. What is wrong with you? A lot of people don't realise yurt is a derivation of the words yura and twat. A lot of people don't realise that.
Going away with my wife, she does this thing, right? If you get her in an airport, I'm not allowed to have my own passport. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'm a 40-year-old man, I get to passport control. They say, you got your passport, mate? I'm like, no! I'm not allowed to carry it! Apparently, I'm not mature enough. I don't know what happens, man. The moment you get near an airport, she becomes like some sort of Russian people trafficker. Do you know what I mean? She's like, I must have all the passports. You cannot handle passport. You are too stupid for passport. I must keep all passports in zippy clear travel document folder, huh? Alongside printout from TripAdvisor. But you may carry the bags. I'm like a peasant boy for the day. Oh, thank you, master. Thank you very much. Yes, it's a real honor for me to carry your bags, you know. 11 pair of shoes for 3-day mini break is a good idea. Yes. Maybe you will become a centipede while we are in Egypt. Who knows? I went on a stag do recently. I went to the Munich Beer Festival. Has anybody here been to the Munich Beer Fest? Seemingly everybody. How many days did you go for, mate? No days. Got deported on arrival. We went for 7 days. We got there on a Monday, right? We had 6 straight days drinking, Monday through Saturday. And on the Sunday, we said, we've got to do something different, right? So we went to Dachau concentration camp. Yeah. It was a weird shout. There's no getting away from it. Could have gone go-karting. I said, no, let's do some World War II here. Took a long time to get there, and when we got there, it was shut. Now, yeah, it felt inconvenient. However, given the wider backdrop of historical suffering, I didn't necessarily think that my inconvenience was that big a deal, right? So I just thought I'll take it on the chin. But we had a mate of us called Tim, and Tim started popping off at the German security guard. He said, mate, it's a Sunday, yeah? It's a big tourist day. It's outrageous that it's shut. I said, to be fair, it's outrageous that it was ever open, you know what I mean? It's It is weird that you're making this about you, Tim, to be honest. People say dumb things, though, don't they? I was having a beer with my mate Wayne the other day, and Wayne likes to tell you where he was on the occasion of big historical news events that happened within our lifetime, right? So I mentioned 9/11, and Wayne went, 9/11, remember where I was that day? I was like, don't care where you were. I don't see how it's relevant. I don't see how your whereabouts on that fateful, terrible day will form some sort of meaningful historical footnote, Wayne. I'm being honest here. He looked hurt. He went, all right, where were you? He went, karate. I went, see, that's exactly the sort of trivial shit I was worried about, Wayne. He said, well, you know, I was in New York 6 months before that. Makes you think, doesn't it? I was like, no. No, to be honest, all it makes me think is I wish you'd been there 6 months later. Sorry.
My daughter and I were really close. I took her out for some festive cocktails last week, and we went to one of those lovely fancy sky bars down on the south bank of the Thames. And as we were queuing to get in, they were doing very, very thorough bag checks on the door. My daughter's face just fell, and she said, Mum, they won't suspect you. Can you put my weed in your pocket? Oh, that's gone wrong here, hasn't it? Can you put my weed in your pocket, please? And where was I going to put my cocaine? But we got in, we had the most wonderful night, and we kept getting free cocktails. There was a very, very good-looking young waiter, wouldn't let us pay for a single thing. At the end of the night, that waiter came over, he bent down, he said to my daughter, he said, if you weren't here, I'd take your mum home with me. I couldn't believe how long it took to get an Uber for my daughter. It was... So I found this thing online that can best be described as a menopause magnet, right? I don't mean George Clooney. This is literally a magnetic device to help a woman through the menopause. This thing arrived in the post. It said it would help me with my mood swings and my hot flushes. And what you do is, I know this sounds weird, sir, right? But what you do is, you put a magnet on the front of your knickers. You put a metal disc on the inside of your knickers. It keeps the magnet securely and discreetly in place. And that bit works so beautifully. But what they don't tell you on the menopause magnet packaging is when it is tucked neatly and very discreetly in your pants, distinct possibility you will find yourself metallically attached to the self-checkout in Waitrose. The unexpected item in the bagging area. I just rang it through as a butternut squash and I pissed off. I felt so stupid. The week before, I'd spent a whole 10 minutes attached to my tumble dryer. I mean, it was a very nice 10 minutes if I'm... It took me so long to decorate the tree this year. All the baubles kept getting stuck in my pubic triangle. I've still got at least one novelty Santa down there. But no, they're really powerful magnets. Honestly, so if you've got any metal fillings, I'd shimmy back a bit and shut your mouth. A pandemic was no place for a menopausal woman, right? Do you remember when they were taking your temperatures everywhere before you could get in? We were only ever one hot flush away from getting fully cancelled. It was... I remember the last time it happened so clearly. I was out with a friend, we were trying to just get a pizza, and they were taking temperatures on the door, and the guy took mine, and he looked at me, he said, "There's a problem." And I said, "What do you mean there's a problem?" He said, "I'm really sorry, there is a problem." And I said, "Am I a little bit overheated?" That's funny, because I'm a 50-year-old woman. I've just spent an hour and a quarter on the Northern Line wearing a mask, and I raised 2 children single-handedly. I gave birth to them with no pain relief while their dad complained his back was hurting, and I haven't had a good night's sleep in about 2 years because of my anxiety, my irrational crying, and my vaginal dryness. I don't know what my body's doing. It should send the tears down there. That's where I really need them, and I am attached to your fire extinguisher by my pants. Turned out the problem was with the card machine. You had to pay on the app, so...
I grew up loving trains, right? But there's one thing about the trains, other than the fact that I want them to run on time, that I really need them to change, right? And it's this announcement that goes, "See it, say it, sorted." Have you heard this? Now, if you those that haven't, "See it, say it, sorted" is an announcement on trains, which basically means if you see something suspicious, call the British Transport Police. But we all know what they really mean by suspicious. If you see a brown bloke with a rucksack, give us a fucking call. Now, I've never liked "See it, say it, sorted" because for a start, it just raises fear and suspicion constantly. Second, it doesn't get to the heart of the issue, what they really want us to do, which is racial profiling. And third and most importantly, "See it, say it, sorted" doesn't bloody rhyme. Now, this upset me. I said, right, I've got to come up with some alternative options to reflect the reality of the situation and make it a bit more linguistically appealing, right? So I've come up with 2 options to replace "See it, say it, sorted." By way of cheer, you can tell me which one you prefer, okay? So option number 1 to replace "See it, say it, sorted." Seen a muso? If so, let us know. Average? Okay. Option number 2. Don't be wacky, reporter. You little racist pieces of... Gotcha! I'm in my late 30s at the moment, and a lot of my friends are already kind of parents of toddlers. Do we have any parents of toddlers in at the moment? Give me a cheer. Yeah, you are the worst human beings on the planet. I hate each and every single one of you, right? Because parents of toddlers nowadays, my God, they feel the need to show that they love their child when they're in public. Like, get on a train, you'll 100% see this. They'll be like, "Oscar, we're on a train." "Did you bring your bag with you today, darling?" "I know, there are lots of people on the train, aren't there?" "What's that? You want to press the button even though they're waiting? Don't worry about them." "I'll read you a story first, yeah, Oscar?" "I love you, Oscar. I love you, Oscar. I really love you, Oscar." Fuck off! I understand and assume that you love your child. I don't need to see this performance parenting. Now, I don't have any children. I've got a little nephew. When I get my nephew along, I think to myself, I don't want to miss out on the opportunity to be a complete dick in public. I get my nephew, I sit him down, I say, "Hello, Ali." We are on a train. Did you bring your rucksack with you today? I know. There are lots of people on the train. What's that? You want to press a button, do you? All the parents shut the hell up. And there's a woman in the corner going, see it, say it, sort it.
So I've moved house recently and now I have a wife. Thank you. Thank you. I have a wife now. Have a wife now. I love saying that. I love my wife. I like that. Didn't used to like that whenever I'd meet a married couple, especially if there was a man in the situation. Didn't like it when he said, my wife. Always sounded so aggressive, so territorial. Ownership. This is my wife. She is my property. I own this woman. Oh, I thought, ooh, I'm not going to like saying that. But now, I own a woman. And I love to show off my property. I'm proud of my wife. She's one of my favourite things, apart from my outdoor pizza oven. No, I do like to say my wife. I should clarify this, but not for that reason. I like to say it because it took us so long to get married, right? Our original wedding date was on April 25th, 2020. Yes. And then somebody fucked a bat. And she caught me doing that and cancelled the wedding. It's a proper joke. 3 weddings cancelled. 3 weddings cancelled. Awful, very stressful. The first one, the worst, obviously, by far the worst. We got a call from our venue about 2 weeks before the wedding was supposed to happen, and they said, it's just not going to happen. We're cancelling all of our events. We're so sorry, right? It's about 2 weeks before the first national lockdown, they called us and said that. And that is devastating, to be told that you are not allowed to marry the person that you love most in the world, that you want to spend every single minute of every single day with. And then 2 weeks later, the government told us we had to spend every single minute of every single day together. And as we all found out, that is too long to spend with anyone. No matter how much you love them, you need a minute off now and again. It's done mad things to our relationship. We're basically the same person now. We share everything, especially since we've got married. Don't know if you know this, if you're about to get married, I'm going to let you in on something. You have to share everything, including, and I didn't know this was one of the rules, a Google Calendar. No one told me. I got a bit of a shock. 2 weeks after we got married, I was in a meeting with people at work that I didn't really know that well. Work people. Practical strangers. At the end of the meeting, we had to go round the table and read out what we had coming up in the week following so we could put a new meeting in. I announced to this room full of practical strangers that the following Wednesday, I had my smear test. We're on a new level of intimacy I did not know existed. And I like it, but you do leave things behind at the previous level of intimacy. Don't you? You do leave some things behind. Like, we know each other so well now. We've lost that sort of exciting, unknown, sparky, sexy thing. That's dead. I'll tell you the moment that went, I know the split second. It was lockdown 1. It was in our bathroom. Our bath's directly next to our toilet. I needed a piss, so I just went for a piss. She turned around, looked me directly in the stream and said, you need to drink more water.
It's nice seeing people out, man. We've had a weird few years, innit? There's been a lot going on, the pandemic, you know, monkeypox, World War III, right? No, World War III scared me, you know. I was terrified when that Russian bloke came on TV, right? When he came on TV and he was like, World War III has begun, right? I lost it, right? I was so scared, right? Because I looked around at the men of my generation, right? And I was like, could we fight a war? Could the men of this generation fight a war, right? And I came to the conclusion, no, we are done for. We're finished, bruv, right? Not me, I'm a bad man, but some of you, like, do you know what I mean, right? No, we can't fight a war, brother. You mad? They will take half of us out with gluten. Like, do you know what I mean? They don't even need to drop bombs. They'll just drop blue top milk over the front lines, right? Just see all of us just shitting everywhere, like, crying like, where's the gender literal toilet. Shut up, it's a war, bro! It's good to see you lot out, man. That whole thing was scary, man. Do you know the scariest part of that thing? The mayor of London came on TV, right? And he was like, London is well placed in case of a nuclear attack. I was like, are you out of your goddamn mind? There's leaves on the track and we're done for. Forget a nuclear winter, we can't survive autumn, bruv, right? It's nice seeing you guys out, man. We've had a weird few years, man. Monkeypox is on the horizon, right? There's going to be no anti-vaxxers when it comes to that one, is there? Right? As soon as you see a massive pimple that big on your face, you're like, yeah, inject it, bruv. Do what you want, right? The thing with COVID, we had everything in it, right? Like, people were talking about the vaccine. Like, there was people on both sides that I didn't understand. Like, I don't care if you're vaccinated, just have a good reason, because I didn't get both sides of it. You know, you had pro-vaxxers and you had anti-vaxxers. Are there any anti-vaxxers in? They're louder on Facebook, innit? Like... you look, those anti-vaxxers are loud on Facebook, innit? Like, Bill Gates, he's taking your soul. You little sheeple. All right, shut up, man. Right? I don't get the pro-vaxxers either. You know, like, where they're like, there's absolutely no reason not to get vaccinated. There's absolutely no reason. It's like, of course there is. There's reasons for some of the most horrendous things in the world, like listening to R. Kelly's music. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are reasons. What, you're going to tell me there's no reason to listen to R. Kelly's music? Are you mad? Right? What, you want me to never watch Space Jam again? Are you out of your mind, bruv, right? Listen, there's reasons to listen to R. Kelly's music. As much as you want to deny it, there's reasons, right? Say you're in a Squid Games type scenario, right? And the challenge is to play a song that a diverse audience is going to sing along to, yeah? I don't know about you lot, yeah, but I'm picking Ignition, innit? Right? Don't go home and say that I told you to listen to R. Kelly, by the way. He's a piece of shit. Don't listen to him, right? No, I don't care whether you're vaccinated or not, if I'm being honest, right? As long as you have a good reason, right? As long as you've got a good reason, I don't mind what you want to do with your life, man. It's your life. Do what you want, right? And I'll tell you what I mean, because I've got a lot of friends, man, like, that are, like, anti-vaxxers and stuff as well. Like, I was talking to a couple of my mates about it, right, when it was all going on, and I was like, bro, you're going to get vaccinated? He was like, no. I was like, why not? He's like, no. Come on, bro, man, that's not a reason, man. Just talk to me, man. Let me know. He's like, no, you're going to turn it into a joke. And to be honest with you... wonderful foresight on his behalf, right? Like...
I'm the sort of person who'll spend their wages like their winnings. You know what I mean? Get all excited. I just get so excited. First half of the month, I'm getting my nails done, champagne brunches, buying a second-hand jet ski I found online. But I forget about the second half of the month. We all do, don't we? And it's bleak, innit? Isn't it bleak? Just indoors, watching telly, eating beans, on a jet ski. It's... embarrass myself, I do. I love it. I love shopping. I love it. People save money a lot. They're not me. I love shopping. It's the pop-up ads. They know me. I don't even resent it. Oversized smock midi dress with pockets. Yes, please. I'll have another one of them. Thank you, algorithms. Love it. Thank you. Because they're all watching us, innit? They're all watching what we're doing, listening to what we're doing. People don't like it. I don't mind it. I use it to my advantage. I'm like, I need a shed at the minute. I'm like 6x4, pre-treated timber. Works every time. But people get paranoid. Don't we right to get paranoid? Like my mum, paranoid. My mum is paranoid. She won't have a smartphone, not a computer in her house, nothing. She's like, they're watching. I said, it don't matter, does it, Mum? I said, it don't matter if you ain't got anything to hide. Do you know what my 73-year-old mother said to that? I have. I thought... right, slow down, top girl. Say nothing. Doesn't matter. She's right, of course she's right. You had to do what you had to do to get through lockdown, that's what I say. Do you know what I mean? People were stockpiling. I've got 3 kids. There was no such thing as stockpiling with 3 kids, let me tell you that. Every other day I was going out for more Jack Daniels. I don't know. It's got to be done, though, innit? And do you know what it is? Now we've all got all our freedoms, I'm worried about myself because I feel like nothing's actually as fun as you think it's going to be. Maybe it's me. There's a lot of stuff I don't get, like Brighton and tapas. Maybe it is me. But I feel like other people are pretending to have fun. Do you know what I mean? Spa days. Do you like spa day? I don't think you do. Brunches? Girls, how have we signed up to 50 quid brunches? How has that become a thing, a standard? When did that happen? Not even birthdays. It's mad. I'd rather get drunk with my own scrambled eggs. Do you know what I mean? Holidays? You bothered about a holiday? No, I'm not. Again, I think you like the idea of a holiday. Do you know what I mean? I like looking for them, booking them, actually doing them. Hard work, I think. It's true though, isn't it? Do you know what? I think I would genuinely rather be hospitalised. Can you imagine? Food, drink, drugs brought straight to your bed. That costs hundreds in Ibiza, hundreds. I'd start clapping for the NHS again, I would. I love it.
The most sexually adventurous thing I ever did, I did it when I was single. When I was single, I ordered the #1 vibrator on the Love Honey website. And the Love Honey website is a sex toy website, for those of you pretending not to know. I kind of ordered it out of spite, right? Because one of my exes called me a prude, which I think is such an extreme thing to call someone. I don't think I did anything to warrant that. The only thing I can think of maybe is once I said that I don't like morning sex. That's not a big deal. That doesn't mean that I'm not sex positive. I just don't think you should do something that disgusting in the morning. Not whilst the blackbird is singing his morning tune. But I went on the website. It was late at night. I just ordered the first one on the list because I thought that would be good. That would probably be quite nice. The thing that arrived is so terrifying. It plugs directly into the wall. It has one of those on the end of it. It uses mains electricity. It needs to be pat tested. I just find that so threatening, because I think what that's basically saying is, what I'm about to do to you couldn't possibly be done with a battery. I'm gonna need that same stuff that powers your fridge. It's huge, it's bigger than this. It looks like a piece of farming equipment from the Industrial Revolution. But it's called a wand. There is nothing magical about it. I've never seen this type of vibrator before. All the vibrators that I've seen advertised online are very small and portable, and they're not making big claims. They're just happy to live in your bedside drawer, and they'll be there like, okay, girl, I'm here if you need me. Like, if you and your partner get like super, super drunk one night, maybe you could experiment with me for a little bit. Honestly, I might not do anything, but I might speed things along for you a little bit. Either way, no worries if not. Whereas my vibrator is just next to the bed like, do you want to meet God? Not really. It doesn't even fit in the bedside drawer. It's just curled up on the floor like a python. And after it arrived, I was like, is this the right thing? Because I checked on the website, because I thought maybe it got mixed up with like an order meant for Guantanamo Bay. It was the right thing. Not only that, I read the description for the first time. It said in the description, this is the world's most powerful vibrator. I don't think I need that. I need absolute max, a whisper on the wind. The world's most powerful vibrator. You shouldn't be able to buy that without a license. Underneath as well, it said, the vibrator will turn off automatically after 20 minutes for your safety. 21 minutes and there's a danger of death. I don't even want to share. It cost £90. So I felt like I had to try it because I spent so much money. And I don't even have a plug next to my bed. I had to get the extension cable. That felt desperate. I turned it on onto the lowest setting. It had 8 settings. I turned it onto setting 1. It was so loud. I was like, there's nothing private about this experience. The neighbours are going to think I'm having a new kitchen put in. At midnight, they're going to call the council. Well, no, they're not calling anyone. They don't have any power right now. I tried it just for like 1, maybe 2 seconds, and I was like, I can smell burning. I can't use this thing. It's going to sand me down. It's going to erode. I'm going to be flat over. There'll be nothing left like Barbie. But it had 8 settings. I thought, I have to see what setting 8 does. Not on myself. I know my limits. I just turned it up to setting 8 in the sky. Fuck me. I was like, I'm going to rip a hole in the space-time continuum.
I'm a romantic. That's my problem. I love romance. Oh, I want to be in a relationship. I want to try edible pants. You can't edible solo, they don't let you. I'm absolutely fascinated by them. Here's why. It must be someone's job to keep edible pants from being too delicious. Because they've got to be okay in context, but there's a team of scientists that's working day in, day out to make sure that none of us start craving them. Struggle being single. I'm a pick-me girl. Do you guys know what that is? A pick-me girl is a type of woman who's like me. I'm not like the other girls. Why? Because I like live music. Shackle me. I do like live music. Like, sometimes I wonder if anyone's gone to see the band Placebo thinking it was The Cure. So I do think about that stuff. Love live music. I went to see ABBA Voyage. Have you guys seen it? ABBA Voyage, if you haven't seen it, it's incredible. It's ABBA. They've got holograms now. But just before going into ABBA Voyage, I found out a little bit of industry gossip, and I'm going to share it with you because I was pissed off. ABBA, the band, they're not even dead. And they've got holograms, is it? You can't have holograms if you're alive. Hey, ABBA, go to work. ABBA Voyage, it's amazing. From start to finish, it's them at their best. They were 28 years old when they recorded it. Start to finish, them at their best. A bit like this. So, ABBA Voyage, at the end of ABBA Voyage, sometimes the real ABBA, they come out. But the problem is that at this point in your life, you've only known them as hot 28-year-olds. So when 76-year-old ABBA comes out, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like them. It looks like their parents have come to pick them up. I am a pick-me girl. I lie about my interests constantly, I do. My new thing now is I pretend to like football. Now, I want to like football. I really do. I really respect it as a sport. My problem is too much of it has happened. And no one will let me catch up. Like, everyone needs to stop playing for like 5 years, and then I'll start casual, season 1, episode 1. Now, the real reason I'm trying to get into football is because, basically, I met this guy. Thank you. And, oh my God. So he told me that he could have Do you guys know him? That's weird. He does have a lot of friends. He said he could have gone professional. But then, and this is so sad, just before the trials, he didn't have the scales. He didn't have the skills, the work ethic, or the natural talent. So close.
You do a thing in the UK called pre-drinks. Pre-drinks, all right? Some people call it prinks, because they don't even have time to pronounce the whole word before they get on it, all right? Pre-drinks. I had no idea what it was. I had to ask my friend. I was like, Di, what the hell are pre-drinks? He said, Ignacio, it's great. We drink at home before we go out to go drinking. I said, that is the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. I said, why would you do this? He said, you know, just to warm up to get ready to go drinking. I said, that doesn't make any sense, all right? You don't do it for anything else, do you? You don't go, we're going to go to the cinema, pop a fucking DVD in before we go to the cinema. Just fire up the old Netflix and do shots of popcorn. Is it made before we go down to the cinema? Craziness. Everything revolves around booze, okay? People in this country start drinking around about 13, 14 years of age. Does that feel about right? 13, 14. Some of you, depending on where you're from, younger, some of you older, all right? I get that. But I came over, I visited as a teenager, and I found out the way it works, all right? I was trying to fit in, and they were like, right, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go down drinking in the park, all right? We're gonna go drinking in the park as teenagers, all right? I was like, right, they go, right, we're gonna steal booze from our parents, and we're gonna go down the park, all right? I was like, okay, no problem. So I showed up to the park, all right, feeling like Jason Bourne or something in my backpack, and I think, pull out the stuff, all right, what's in there? They were like, what the hell is Rioja? Like, it's Rioja. Does anyone have a corkscrew, actually? Because otherwise we're gonna be for a while. The thing is, like, kids do that, and if they can't steal the booze from their parents, what they do is they'll stand by an off license, all right? And they will wait for somebody to walk past who looks just dodgy enough, but not too dodgy, so they can offer them money and go, hey, can you go in the shop for me and pick me up some beer, some vodka, whatever, we can go down drink in the park, and that person will go get the cash, and then you go there, you get shit-faced as teenagers, it bonds you, okay? It brings you together. At least that was my experience, okay, back in the day. But times have changed, all right? I went to back where my mother's from, okay? My mother's from a little town in Wales called Pontardawe, all right? Don't know if anyone's heard of it. Tiny little town, Pontardawe. Pontardawe is a Welsh word, all right? Pont means bridge, and Dawe means over a shithole, okay? It's not a delightful place to move to from Mallorca, is what I'm trying to say. Right? My mother hates that joke. She's like, Ignacio, please stop saying that. They've taken all of the trolleys out of the canal, all right? Can we... But I was visiting and I was walking to see my mother and I passed an off license, okay? And there's this kid stood by the off license as I'm passing, all right? And he clocks me and I've got my guitar on my shoulder, so he's thinking, this guy's got no prospects. So he comes over to me with his cash, all right? And he was like, hey, could you maybe go in the shop? I'm like, I know where this is going. He goes, can you pop in the shop? I'm like, right. He goes, if I give you this money? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, and get me some. I was like, I know where we're going. He goes, vape. I was like, what? He goes, vape. I said, seriously, vape? He said, yeah. I said, what flavor? He said, cherry. I was like, of course, cherry vape. All right, rock and roll. I go in the shop. I'm laughing to myself. I can't believe these kids asked me for cherry vape. How times have changed, all right? I go up to the counter. The guy behind the counter must have thought I was insane, all right? I'm laughing the whole way through the shop. I grab the stuff, pay for it, put it in the bag. I walk out. I'm laughing on the way out. I give the kid the bag. I go, there you go, pal. 20 Marlboro Red and a bottle of vodka. Grow up, you little shit. What is this? Vape nonsense.
Don't you think it's crazy that, do you understand the technology for us to hear the pilot? I am actually utilizing it right now. This is the technology for us to hear the pilot. I don't know why we cannot hear. There's no other context where it's acceptable for us not to hear a person. Why are you muffling? If you were looking for an au pair for your kids and a person came over to your house and said, hey man, what's your experience with kids? And then they looked at you and went, ta-da. like, you need to get out of my house, son. Weird things happen in airplanes. Weird things, like crazy things, bizarre things. Like, how bizarre would it be right now if someone walked in here and started selling us watches and perfume? Would that be the most bizarre thing? But it happens all the time in airplanes. No one's ever gone, huh, this is crazy. This is that English polite thing. Oh, I've already got one, yeah. I'm not looking at the moment, yeah. Not every airline should be selling watches, though. Like Ryanair, no business selling watches. You need to watch Ryanair, your flight's 7 hours late. And also, why am I buying a 400-pound watch on an 11-pound flight? This makes no sense. Yeah, being in London is cool. I like being in London. One of my favorite things to be in London, there's so much to do. I try to buy a ticket online to watch Wimbledon. Yeah, man. The Wimbledon final, I was like, I'm excited. Went online, it was 3,000 pounds. I was like, what? 3,000 pounds? Okay, I'm not saying I wouldn't pay 3,000 pounds, right? I'm not saying I won't pay 3,000 pounds for a Champions League finals ticket. But I'm not paying 3,000 pounds for a sport where someone is going to tell me, quiet, please. Are you out of your mind? For 3,000 pounds, there will be no quiet, please. For 3,000 pounds, I'm rubbing my nipples center court. Are you out of your mind? My brother, 3,000. Oh, it's a lot of money. 3,000. My brother, 3,000 pounds. For 3,000 pounds, I should be able to whisper some advice in Roger Federer's ear. 3,000. I should be able to walk into the court. Sorry, Roger. Come on, forearm. Let's work on that. Come on. My brother, around 3,000. For 3,000, I should be able to punch a ball boy in the face. For 3,000. Could be walking across, picking up a ball up. Uppercut him in the nose. He'll be so confused. What was that for? I'm like, no, it's part of the package. If you look carefully, I can kick you in the balls.
But here's the thing about being married a very long time. You get to know each other so well, right? I mean, my husband knows me well. I know my husband so well at this point that we can have a full-blown argument from start to finish, and he's not even home. You know? So, this year, I have been married 21 years. Thank you. Thank you. I know it looks like I could have been a child bride, which, where I'm from, totally possible. Anyway, I wasn't a child bride. Anyway, so 21 years. And here's what I've learned in 21 years. That to stay married and stay happy, because it's not naturally the same thing, to stay married and stay happy, what you must do is keep your focus on what is important. Keep your focus on what is important. Let everything else fall away. See, I'll explain. The other day, my husband and I were having an argument, a face-to-face one, the one where he's actually at home. So we're having an argument, and, I say argument. The fact is, after 21 years, my husband and I don't really have arguments. We have throwdowns. You know, throwdown, like MMA level. Do you know what MMA is, sir? Yeah, marriage martial arts. Proper MMA, no matter what the topic, my husband and I both always bring it for everything. Because we know that after 21 years and 3 kids, nobody's fucking going anywhere. Right? We are just trying to get to the end of this somehow. And also, also you should know, like I told you, when I arrived here, I got a UK passport. My husband is Scandinavian. He didn't bother. And then we were having this argument, and he was like, I don't understand why you didn't do it this way. And I said, really, what I don't understand is why you don't fuck off back where you came from. Apollo, I cannot lie to you, it felt pretty good. Oh my God, what a great phrase. I am totally on board with it now. Knock yourselves out. Such a good feeling it gives you afterwards, you know? The problem was it bothered our children a little bit because we were having lunch, it was Sunday. Our youngest child, she said, oh no, Mama said the F word. And I said, oh darling, you're right, I did. But you know what? When you grow up and meet the man of your dreams, so will you. And then my teenage son said something, but let me explain, ladies and gentlemen. Between 45 to 85% of what this child says, I don't understand. Because he's a teenager. He just looked at me and said, why so salty, bro? And then our middle child, apart from being somewhat fractured, she's also very woke. By which I mean she doesn't understand the difference between racism and a joke about racism. So she got very upset and she said, you can't say that to Dad, that's racist. I said, racist? Look at my face. I can't be racist. Everybody knows only white people are racist. Oh, she got angry. She stomped out of the room. And I was like, oh, come on, darling. Sorry, it was a joke. I know, you're half white. Oops.
There's other younger people in the room, right? You know what I mean. You have only ever known a time in your life when you're trying not to get pregnant or trying not to get somebody else pregnant. And I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but on both accounts, I fucking smashed it. I think it comes down to skill set at the end of the day, doesn't it? People are just good at different things. Some people are good at the violin. Some people are good at parallel parking. I was very good at taking the pill. Every day, every day, every day. Honestly, I used to think I was so good at taking the pill, I deserved a reward. Arguably, there was a reward. It was the reward of not having to watch Peppa Pig or cleaning up another human's shit. Tell you what I don't understand, right, is women who are on the pill and forget to take it. Don't get that. Because don't get me wrong, I forget things. I forget my keys, my wallet, the fact I'm married. Sure! But forgetting to take something that can prevent you from creating a human that could one day say, turn the machines off, is what she would have wanted. I'm going to remember that one, thank you. Obviously does happen, though. Women forget to take the pill, they get knocked up. Happened to a girl I used to work with, actually, when I used to work in an office, right? And we were chatting about it one day. She was so blasé. We're in the kitchen. She's just standing there rubbing her belly like, well, the thing is, I've just got really bad memory. I was thinking, that's funny, because every day without fail, you remember to steal my milk. Maybe if you'd strapped your packet of microgynon to my semi-skimmed... Stephen in accounts wouldn't be telling everyone how you trapped him. I think the reason I was always very good at remembering to take the pill, because I've been on it for so long. I was on it since I was about 16. And the reason I started taking it was because I was going out with my first boyfriend, Kevin Sutherland. A boom, chicka, wow, wow. He was quite the catch. He had a Peugeot 106 and a tattoo of Bart Simpson, which I thought showed a great joie de vivre. And things were going very well between Kevin and I. We had matching bracelets from Argos, so you can tell how serious we were. And we'd agreed that we were going to do it for the first time, right? So I was like, right, I'll put myself on the pill because my first time is going to be really special. My first time is going to be just like in the movies. So the big day arrived, and Kevin, bless him, he made such an effort for everything to be really perfect. Like, he paid his little brother to leave the room. To this day, the most romantic thing a man has ever done for me. And he made a mix CD of all of our favourite romantic songs. You know, like Boom, 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 Let Me Hear You Say Wayo. And as we lay down on his single bed, with his Liverpool FC duvet cover on it, the scent of Lynx Africa heavy in the air. And as Kevin took my virginity so beautifully and gently and quickly from behind, I remember thinking, wow, just like in the movies. Obviously, it's quite difficult to make eye contact in that position, isn't it? Almost felt like I lost my virginity to Steven Gerrard. I'll never walk alone. I never will.
It's lovely to be here. I've come all the way from Brighton. Just in case you're wondering what this haircut is about. Might be a new face for some of you people. Don't panic, the BBC invited me here because they needed a beige lesbian. So I'm just here to tick some boxes. Not your box, madam, just a metaphorical box. I'm half Spanish, that's what's happening there. I've got a Spanish mum, and she lives here in the UK. It's all very legal. She's lived longer in the UK than she's ever lived in Spain, but the brilliant thing about my mum is that she's never lost her accent. She's doing very, very good. Lost words she cannot pronounce. Lost words she cannot pronounce, huh? My favourite word that my mum's never been able to pronounce is my brother's name. It's not even a difficult name, his name's Stephen. I don't know if you've noticed this, Spanish people, any word that begins with the letter S, they struggle, right? So my mum doesn't call him Stephen, she calls him Steven. What's his name, Mum? Steven. Is it? Isn't it just Stephen? Even if I know his name is my son, it is Steven! You don't want to mess with my mum. She's not like British people here in this country. We can be quite passive-aggressive, can't we? She's just very aggressive woman. I don't know how, my mum's never really coped in this country, and I think it's because, like a lot of Mediterranean people, she's quite loud, yeah? She's got one volume, it's like this. Whereas in this country, particularly if we're middle class, we tend to be low talkers, don't we? We don't like to raise our voices, do we? Why? Because we've got money. And we just assume that if you are raising your voice, well, you're probably poor. Or worse, foreign. Great thing about having a Mediterranean mum is they feed you. Oh my God. She's always feeding. That's her way of showing that she loves her children, is to feed us. You know, I can remember going around friends' houses, you know, like English mums. Go around an English mum's house and the conversation with mum's more like this. I think you've had enough. My mum will feed you till you puke. Going on in my life, and my mum will relate it back to a meal that she's cooked. Do you know what I mean? Like, so good or bad, particularly if I'm depressed. If I phone up my mum and I've had a terrible day, yeah, I phone up my mum, conversation always goes like this. Oh, Jennifer, my God, I'm so sorry to hear that you're having a hard time right now, but you know what, don't worry, okay? I made a soup. Come home, you sound hungry. I made a chicken curry, I made a lamb tagine, I made a casserole, Jennifer, I made some tortillas, some paella, some curry, Jennifer, you love curry, maybe some meatballs, some pork ball, beef ball, aniseed ball, banana ball. You're a lesbian, you don't eat enough balls, please. Come home. Eat my balls.
Such an honour to be hosting the Christmas Live at the Apollo, and you sort of think, well, how have I got to this point? I just want to give thanks to diversity quotas. You know, it's Really helped me out. You're getting 2 for 1 with me because I'm Asian and I've got a lazy eye. So what you get is you get ethnicity and you get disability. I do like Christmas. I like to play the race card at Christmas. What's good about it is that you can make anyone feel racist at Christmas. It's a really nice little tradition I like to do. If somebody comes up to you and says, "Merry Christmas," you go, "Why would you assume that I celebrate Christmas?" Right? And if they come up to you and go, "Merry Christmas," "Oh no, do you celebrate?" You go, "Why would you assume that I don't celebrate Christmas?" It's wicked, man. I love it. Or sometimes I like to knock on a neighbour's door and go, "Here's your Christmas card. Notice you didn't get me one for Diwali. See you later." It's nice, it's nice. Obviously, it's difficult for us at our house with Christmas and that because, well, I can't pretend to be Santa. It's because of the lazy eye. It just makes it such a nightmare. The kids don't know which one I'm giving the present to. It's just... it's absolutely horrendous. My wife always wants to go away for Christmas, right? Last Christmas, she wanted to do Disneyland Paris. Has anyone been there? Yeah. I liked it. I found it difficult to engage with it fully because it was so expensive. It's very difficult to fully enjoy it when you know how much you've paid to get your family in there. Like, my kids were walking around just like all the visions of Christmassy Disney, and I just had, in my eyes, the invoice. Do you know what I mean? I was just... For me, Disneyland Paris is basically like a 3-day angry walk. Do you know what I mean? Just wandering around, going, "Fuck off, Donald!" Do you know what I mean? Just furious, so angry. It's the first time I really thought about learning another language, right? Because they all speak French, obviously. We're in France. I'm not so post-Brexit that they can't speak their own language in their own country. But I'm a very paranoid dude. We're queuing up for the Tower of Terror with my eldest son. Just about to get on the ride. The guy behind the counter turns to his mate and goes, "Zabakadada." I was thinking, what the shit did that dude just say, man? And in my head I'm thinking he must have gone, "I think the roller coaster is broken. Let's just try that one more time on this prick and his son." He probably just said, "I fancy a sandwich." I don't know, but I'm very paranoid. The kids were very excited, right? They're excited because how it works is you pay a lot of money to get in so that you can access some shops where you spend some more money, right? That's how it works. The kids are like, "We're going to buy loads of stuff." I said, No, you're not, mate. You're allowed 1 present each, yeah? Because Daddy has been fisted by Mickey here, right? So you get 1 present each, all right? No messing about. The little one... But the thing is, I actually made an extra saving because I've got a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. The 2-year-old doesn't know what's going on, so sack him off. Do you know what I mean? I just gave him a croissant we got free at the hotel. There you go, man. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you so much. Yeah, enjoy, dickhead.
London, just a city dragging itself up by its cranes to ever new heights of unaffordability. It's been that way for years now, right? It's just a playground for the super wealthy and their offspring. And I'm not from that sort of background myself, regardless of what you may think from the way that I just pronounced the word years. I'm not, it's just a voice. This is genuinely true. During the last year for which I have available data, the high school I went to sent more people to ISIS than Oxbridge. Let you guess which way I went? Pleasure to be here. Allahu Akbar. Lock the doors. You might think the last line's obviously a joke. I'll get letters. Genuinely. I get strangers anonymously contacting me online insisting that I want to impose Sharia law on the West, which, as the atheist son of Hindu parents, makes me feel ever so naughty. Sharia, moi. And now, look at me. Regular guy on the BBC at Christmas time. Yeah. Although, admittedly, owing to the BBC's diversity regulations, because I'm on the bill, you now have to refer to it as Krishna time. I know, right? O.M. Ganesh. Lots of differences between the generations. My favorite Christmas film is Die Hard. My dad's still waiting for the Hindu remake. Die Hard, get reincarnated, die even harder. It's been an interesting time this year. Lots of changes in my area at the moment, right? My part of London is undergoing a lot of rapid gentrification, they call it, right? I don't know if I can be a gentrifier because I've gentrified places in the past. I work in the arts, don't get me wrong, right? I remember a while ago I lived in a place called Streatham in South London, and when I came towards the end of my tenancy, I remember walking to the station and realizing that overnight a minicab office had been replaced by a vegan bakery, and I was like, my work here is done. It's different from the way that it used to be, you know? When my grandparents came to this country with nothing, and yet they were able to start a family here, they were able to build a life for them, they were able to own property, largely because they drove down house prices in every neighborhood they went to, but they were able... Property. It's not like that anymore for the different generations, right? So what do the young people do? You wait, you're probably watching this at home, all the generations together at last at Krishna time. Huh? All of the young people waiting for a grandparent to cough and hoping that that's what's finally going to get them on the property ladder. The problem is, as with any kind of inequality, with intergenerational inequality, the deck is stacked and we pretend it's a question of priorities that's made outcomes not identical, right? The number of times that I've heard, oh, you're worried you'll never get on the housing ladder, but you'll spend £3 on one of your fancy coffees, yeah? Oh, yeah, you'll never get a little flat, but you'll spend £3 on one of your fancy coffees. Bruv, that's because you bought all the £3 houses. Few of those left, I'd prioritize that over a gingerbread latte. That is not the world that we currently live in, right? Guys, I currently, as an individual, earn more than both of my parents did, put together, adjusted in real terms, when 23 years ago they bought a 4-bedroom detached house in North London. The problem is my fondness for brunch. Sure.
My daughter and I were really close. I took her out for some festive cocktails last week, and we went to one of those lovely fancy sky bars down on the south bank of the Thames. And as we were queuing to get in, they were doing very, very thorough bag checks on the door. My daughter's face just fell, and she said, Mum, they won't suspect you. Can you put my weed in your pocket? Oh, something's gone wrong here, hasn't it? Can you put my weed in your pocket, please? And where was I going to put my cocaine? But we got in, we had the most wonderful night, and we kept getting free cocktails. There was a very, very good-looking young waiter, wouldn't let us pay for a single thing. At the end of the night, that waiter came over, he bent down, he said to my daughter, he said, if you weren't here, I'd take your mum home with me. I couldn't believe how long it took to get an Uber for my daughter. It was... So I found this thing online that can best be described as a menopause magnet, right? I don't mean George Clooney. This is literally a magnetic device to help a woman through the menopause. This thing arrived in the post. It said it would help me with my mood swings and my hot flushes. And what you do is, I know this sounds weird, sir, right? But what you do is, you put a magnet on the front of your knickers, you put a metal disc on the inside of your knickers. It keeps the magnet securely and discreetly in place. And that bit works so beautifully. But what they don't tell you on the menopause magnet packaging is when it is tucked neatly and very discreetly in your pants, distinct possibility you will find yourself metallically attached to the self-checkout in Waitrose. The unexpected item in the bagging area. I just rang it through as a butternut squash and I pissed off. I felt so stupid. The week before, I'd spent a whole 10 minutes attached to my tumble dryer. I mean, it was a very nice 10 minutes It took me so long to decorate the tree this year. All the baubles kept getting stuck in my pubic triangle. I've still got at least one novelty Santa down there. But no, they're really powerful magnets. Honestly, so if you've got any metal fillings, I'd shimmy back a bit and shut your mouth. A pandemic was no place for a menopausal woman, right? Do you remember when they were taking your temperatures everywhere before you could get in? We were only ever one hot flush away from getting fully cancelled. It was... I remember the last time it happened so clearly. I was out with a friend, we were trying to just get a pizza, and they were taking temperatures on the door, and the guy took mine, and he looked at me, he said, "There's a problem." And I said, "What do you mean there's a problem?" He said, "I'm really sorry, there is a problem." And I said, "Am I a little bit overheated?" That's funny, because I'm a 50-year-old woman. I've just spent an hour and a quarter on the Northern Line wearing a mask, and I raised 2 children single-handedly. I gave birth to them with no pain relief while their dad complained his back was hurting, and I haven't had a good night's sleep in about 2 years because of my anxiety, my irrational crying, and my vaginal dryness. I don't know what my body's doing. It should send the tears down there. That's where I really need them. And I am attached to your fire extinguisher by my pants. Turned out the problem was with the card machine. You had to pay on the app, so...
I've made a list of pros and cons, because I've been spending a lot of time in brothels and prisons. Made a list of pros and cons, always good, give you a bit of balance, Con, complete loss of all feelings of hope and possibility. Well, it doesn't sound very good, does it? It doesn't sound much fun, does it? Pro, increased plug socket access. Bang, 1-1. I say increased, it's actually total plug socket access. I've got 32 plug sockets in my house. Each and every one of them is now under my sole domain. Con, all experiences that formed the basis of my happiness and sense of self-worth are now destroyed by grief. Downer. A bit of a downer. Pro, less recycling. I can fit it all in the green box now. It's remarkable when you take into account just how much I'm drinking. Oh, John, you're meant to heat mulled wine. All right, Your Highness, hand me the bottle and leave. Con, I'm gonna lose me house. Bit of fun. Pro, 25% off council tax. I was on that like a ferret. Dialing as the door slammed. And that's us fresh out of cons. The rest are just pros, guys. Increased freezer space, all 4 drawers. Cheaper gas and electric. Reduced wear and tear on fixtures and fittings. And when I say reduced, I don't mean by half, because I was only ever responsible for about 10% of scuffs and spills. So we're looking at a net reduction of 90% in real terms. This is my favourite one. Ultimate control over where the iPhone charger cable is and why it is there. There was a time it would take hours to answer the questions, where is the iPhone charger cable and why is it there? Not anymore. Plugged in next to the bed, most convenient place to have it. Simple. Is it unplugged in the bathroom? No, it's not. It'd be a ludicrous place to keep it. There's no plug socket in the bathroom. Is it in the front pocket of a rucksack you no longer use? That'll be the last place you look. That'll be very frustrating. Is it plugged in on a train we have alighted from? No. It's plugged in next to the bed because that's the most convenient place to have it.
When we first moved to our area, it was a bit shit, right? But it's got nice. It's got a little bit nicer. It's very slightly gentrified. So now everyone that owns their property, they go on Rightmove every day for a little wank. Like, ooh, let's have a little look at what our house is worth. Let's think of somewhere cheaper and put it in and see what we can get for it. Put it in somewhere shit, somewhere, I don't know, somewhere up north. Put that in. And then you're like, fucking hell, we could own Hull. Disgusting. It's very vulgar. So I've never lived anywhere nice before. It's been quite interesting watching it sort of change a little bit. Like, first off, there's little signs that you notice when a change is on the horizon. Like, first off, it's the availability of sourdough. Change a coming. And then it's the pub. It's always the pub. You've got to keep an eye on the pub. The pub changes. Like our old pub, it was a sort of working class pub. Old blokes in there, smoking roll-ups, buying and selling the odd gun, watching Sky Sports, right? But they've all had to go now. They've all been kicked out and the pub's been done up. It's all shabby chic. It's all been done a bit retro. And now, you know, there's like pictures on the wall, old Polaroid photographs of working class blokes smoking roll-ups, buying and selling guns, watching Sky Sports. And you can eat there. You can get food in the pub now. You can get a rustic frittata on a distressed camping plate. Or like pizza off a bin lid. It's great. Tapas off a plank. Because gentrified people like to eat food from bits of shit in a shed, bits of crap, bits sticking around in a garage. I've had soup out of a bedpan. No. I like it. You have to get a tetanus after you've had a meal, but it's nice. And parenting at Christmas time, I worry about my parenting. I don't know if I'm that good at it. I get into rows. I row with my kids. You shouldn't row with kids, should you? It's really frowned at. I said to my friend, I row with my kids. And she said, what do you mean you row with them? You mean you, like, tell them off? I said, no, because that would suggest status, wouldn't it? That would imply I've got some power in our relationship. But I don't seem to have any power. We're in the supermarket recently, getting all the shopping in. I'm quite harassed. I've got other things I need to be doing. One of them's like, no, we don't like pasta shells. We only like pasta bows. I'm like, it's the same. It's the same thing. All of the pastas are the same. The pipes and the bows and the shells and the twists. What are you looking at? I said, you don't give a toss about shape when it's chocolate, do you? No, it's not good. No, because there's no glory in winning a row with a child. Like, if you win a row with your mate, you then tell your other mate, don't you? And then you're like, and then I said, right. And then I said, you don't give a shit about shape when it's chocolate, do ya? And I said it to her face. It's like, oh, well done with your 6-year-old kid. Well done, Kel. And my son loves to play Snap. He loves to play Dinosaur Snap. And he hates to lose, because kids do, don't they? Kids hate losing games. You won't meet a kid that loses a game that's like, no, it's fine, best of 5, let's just go again. So I have to let him win, because I'm his mum and I love him in a sort of oppressive, cloying way. So I have to let him win. He'll lose at things later in life when I can't control that for him. But for this game of Snap, I can let him win, can't I? But it turns out that my reflexes aren't as sentimental as me. So a diplodocus goes down, and then another diplodocus, and before I quite know what's happening, I'm like, snap! Snap! Ha!
I actually haven't been well recently. Stop it, honestly, I don't want to talk about it. But if you insist. I really haven't, though, so that's why I'm delighted to get here today. I was rushed to A&E recently with terrible abdominal problems. Just hideous pains all up and down my tummy and around my sides. And I was rushed to A&E. And for about 3 hours, I thought, and anyone here who ever read a magazine as a teenager will know what I mean, especially the girls. I thought that I was about to have a surprise baby. Do you know the way there's those stories in the magazine going, well, everything was normal, nothing was different, everything was regular. Well, then I went to the toilet and I looked in the toilet and there was a baby in the toilet. And I had a surprise baby. There was always that, and that's when I thought it was. But you'll be happy to know that actually it was, I'm bringing sexy back, a gut infection. A gut infection. But the worst part of the whole situation was that the doctor in A&E was really, really handsome. And I think doctors who are handsome should be struck off. I really do. I wanted someone with a sort of mashed potato head that I could feel at one with. But instead, this man was really handsome. He said to me, what seems to be the problem? And I was like, well, doctor, my problem is that I'm too cute. Chase me. I mean, how could I tell him that I thought I was having a surprise baby or else I was waiting for a poo? I mean, he couldn't, you know... And once we find out which one it is, do you want to go for a drink? It's really quite terrible. But by the way, you might notice that I talk quite fast. And if I'm honest, it's not really going to slow down too much, so you'll have to sort of jump on the Venga bus of enthusiasm and beep the horn with this one. I think that the reason I talk quite fast is because I was brought up in the countryside, in the deepest, darkest countryside, where there was no one for miles and miles around. Just this giant expanse of land with no one to talk to. And it was very, very lonely. You'd have no one to speak to during the day. I mean, a very backwards existence, lads. Like, our clothes were made of mud. Our hats were made of leaves. We had no access to things like pot noodles. We just had to sort of pour boiling water on top of birds' nests if we didn't feel like cooking one evening. A really backwards existence. And crows everywhere. Crows. In the city, there's pigeons everywhere, but in the countryside, there's crows everywhere. And it makes everything you do seem really ominous. You'd open the window and it'd be like, bark, 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 bark. Well, that seems a bit ominous. You know, you'd be standing innocently over a dead body in a field. Oh, God, this one seems a bit ominous. But the reason that I think I talk quite fast is because I'd have no one to talk to during the day. And so some days, the only person you'd have to talk to would be a passing car flying along the road. So you had to learn to talk fast if you wanted to talk to anyone. You'd be like, hi, how's it going? Oh my God, come back and talk to me. Do you like my new dress? Stay and be my friend. This sort of thing. Some days you'd be waiting for a tractor to come along, because you get more time out of a tractor, you see. You get to talk to them for longer. You'd be like, hi, how's it going? Do you like Sesame Street? I like Sesame Street. Oh, you do like Sesame Street? Sometimes I think Big Bird might not be a big bird, but he might just be a man in a suit. I know it sounds bad, but I have my suspicions. Goodbye, come back.
We need to bring back a sense of consequences for our actions. In this world, there are no more consequences for actions, yeah? And what I'm talking about, if there's no consequences in this life, what we need to do is bring back to Britain a simple sense of hell. The idea, if we screw up in this life, right, we will burn in sulphur for all eternity in the next life. Now, this is quite a tough sell, right? You don't like that idea, do you? Right, but hear me out, this is a good idea. We got any Christians present? I need your assistance. Any Christian people here this evening? Yeah, in the pink shirt. What's your name, son? Josh. Fantastic. You're a Christian? So you understand the idea of redemption, eternity, resurrection, eternity in particular. And I do too. I understand the notion of eternity because I went to church on Sunday. Let me tell you this, that service went on forever. Right? If it took me an hour to open a bottle of wine, I'd be drummed out of business. Now, the point is this. How long does it take to own a packet of crisps? Get on with it. Now, we need to bring back... So now, the problem with the idea of hell is no one's frightened of it. Now, I'm going to describe hell for you now, and none of you are going to bat an eyelid, right? And while your body's boiling in the mouldering in the grave, we'll take your soul and boil it in boiling oil for 1,000 millennium. Then after that, 2 sulphurous demons, emissaries of Satan himself, will come along, pull out your kidneys and set fire to them on the red-hot coals of hell itself. Then after this, another demon will come along, pull out your eyeballs, stick them on a red-hot poker, burn them on the hot coals of hell, and stick them up your arsehole, and they'll come out your own mouth with the shit on it. And this will go on forever. So you're not bothered by that, are you? In fact, most of you are laughing at it. Huh? In fact, most of us, being British, are thinking, well, come on then! Got yourself the devil! And that's the interesting thing about hell, isn't it? When you describe it, when someone describes hell, it tells you everything you need to know about that person, right? And what he's like and what his people are like. And I described hell then in a normal British accent, which tells you that we, the British, are stoic, tough people who could take absolutely bloody anything. Right? And that's the interesting thing about hell. It tells you about the people telling you about it. Hell, in a French accent, for instance, sounds like a recipe. And while the body is lying down on the worms inside the flesh, we take out the soul and place it in very hot oil for a long time. Then, once it is tender, 2 demons come together at once, remove the kidneys and place them on the hot coals with a little white wine vinegar, some sea salt, and some we cook them till they're brown on the outside, but still pink in the middle. Then after this, we take the eyeballs, place them on the hot coals, cook them till crunchy on the outside, runny in the middle, on the hot poker, stick them up the arse, they come out the mouth with the shit on. It is delicious. Absolutely magnifique. Hey, you see? Perverts! Perverts, basically, yeah? Hell, in a Dutch accent, sounds like a pretty good stag do, doesn't it? Hey, and while your body is lying down, we'll take you to the hottest place you can imagine. Imagine the hottest place you can go, yeah? Now go even hotter. And two demons will come together and rub oil all over your body. Two demons together. Two demons together at once. And then you will take out your kidneys. Oh, your hot kidneys. Your hot kidneys. And place the kidneys in a hot place and cook the kidneys till they're hard. Until your kidneys are hard. And then take out your eyeballs and stick them in your bum hole. And just cost you 45 euros. Hey, I mean, really? Sounds like an agreeable weekend.
We just make shit decisions. Men make immoral decisions. We make irrelevant decisions. We make immature decisions. We make decisions when we don't even know there's a decision to be made. But you know what? At least we make a decision. No. Let's try this one on with the class, will we, eh? Look at all the couples sitting there now. Look, you listen to him. You listen to him. I went to see Patrick Healy the other night. Was he funny? No, but he was true. Is it just me? Am I an indecision magnet? Eh? Honestly, I can get all sorts of women. Can I get a woman who will make a decision? I'm not talking big decisions. I'm not talking should I murder your man, move to Australia. Talking everyday decisions. What do you want to do tonight? No, I don't know. What do you want to do? Well, I don't know. We go for a takeaway, or we could get a movie, or go for a meal. What do you want to do? No, I don't know. What do you want to do? So you go to the restaurant. The sommelier comes over. Would serve like red? Would serve like white? Oh, God, I don't know, maybe the red, but then the red stains my teeth. Maybe the white, but hang on, are you having the fish? Because if you're having the fish, then you should have the white and I'll have a little sip. Oh, I don't know, I really don't, I'm really not sure. Just the red, please, yeah. Save yourself, go for it, I have to live with this, okay? Gets to the starter. Oh, I don't know, maybe the duck or the prawns, or the duck and the prawns. Hang on, am I allergic to the duck? No, did Jill like the prawns? Oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, I don't know. If you were me, what would you have? You by the fucking throat, that's what I have! Girls, have you any idea how difficult it is for a man to sit in a restaurant, look across at the woman he loves, and think to himself, if I marry this woman, she's going to want to decide the name of my firstborn child. If I marry this woman and I'm unfaithful, she's going to decide whether to keep me in the house or make me leave and keep half my stuff. If I'm involved in a terrible accident and I'm on a life support machine, she's going to decide whether to keep me alive or turn me off. And I'm looking at her and she can't even make her mind up between the chocolate cake and the sticky toffee pudding. And do you know the worst thing about this? I'm looking at couples. I'm looking at couples now who women should now be turning to the men and going, oh my God, would I turn it off? Would I keep it on? Would I turn it off? Would I keep it on? And the only thing going through your minds, girls, chocolate cake, toffee pudding. Oh, it's a toughie, Paddy, it's a toughie. Ooh. Is the cake hot?
To be honest with you, I'm bisexual, but during lockdown, I'll admit, I was strategically gay. I think that was the only way to go. When dating became such that you had to meet strangers in parks, and also you had to believe the other person when they said they washed their hands. I'm not doing that with men. I also think that ultimately, if you are bi, I don't really know why anybody would be choosing men. Yeah? No offense, it's just that we smell better and you're violent. So... The men who don't laugh at that unnerve me most. Yeah, okay. Good lad, join in. Okay. There are good things about being broken up with. I think one of my favourite things is that I had to get my house sorted, so I got a bunch of DIY done. I think DIY is amazing. DIY, in particular, there's one silver lining, and that is that DIY reminded me of something I had long forgotten the point of, which is, of course, men. You're amazing, aren't you? Specifically, I'm a fan of a subgenre of men. They're called handymen. Do we know these guys? Oh my God, they're wizards. I love them. They do magic. I adore them. You're not sold. That's okay. I had one lad in one day, had a bunch of photos and art on the floor, left, came back, on the wall. Oh, I'm sorry, these guys are defying gravity and you're not impressed by that? Incredible. I'm obsessed with them. I love them. I also had one day where I had 2 men in, I know, very exciting, and I had a bookcase, right, that needed bolting to the wall. I said, can you bolt that to the wall? They said, yeah, of course we can. I said, cool. Just so you know, even if you bolt it to the wall, the floor is uneven, so it will wobble. They said, no, don't worry about that, sure, we'll just get some extra wood and pop it under it. What? I said, don't worry about that, sure, we'll just get some MDF and pop it under it. What is this witchcraft? Here's the thing, Apollo. They did. I was like, I will suck you both off. Obviously, I had to think about it afterwards because head was my first reaction, only my first reaction, I think a normal one. My second one was, of course, to wonder how I am a woman in her 30s who doesn't know how to do any DIY. And I think the obvious answer there is that men are keeping it a secret to remain relevant. And that's not on me, right? But I do know some women can do DIY. I date soft butches, I'm aware. But genuinely, I mainly know because a woman came to my house from British Gas, very modern, and she fixed my boiler, right? And after she was done, she said, okay, that's all done, all sorted. Just before it works, you will need to bleed the radiators. I said, what? She said, oh, for that to work, you're just going to need to bleed the radiators. I said, the butch one left. What are you saying? Sorry? Can't really hear you behind all of my hair. What's happening? She goes, do you want me to show you how to do that? I said, is that allowed? Women in the room, look at me. Come here to me now, focus, right? Did you know that that is just turning a key and waiting for liquid? It is basic hand job stuff, and no one will tell you. Here's the thing. Every man in my life has acted like that as a state secret, right? This man's furious, I'm telling you. You now have all the information you need. You're free, run. My dad bleeds a radiator in such a way that I thought he used his own dick. I thought there was actual blood involved. He'll go off with a bunch of tissues being like, I will do it, do not look, I will do it. Anyway, she fixed my boiler, so I was like, I will eat you out. They all said no, I had to pay both times. It's hard out there.
I'm used to my appearance provoking the full spectrum of facial reactions everywhere I show up, and you absolutely did not let me down. You were delighted, weren't you? You gave me some wonderful face when I came up here. You looked at me like your mother-in-law just cancelled dinner. I've been lucky enough to travel, and I'll never forget my first trip to Australia. I went to a place called Perth. I got off the plane. First person that saw me said the following. Hey, mate! Hey, mate! Why is Freddie Mercury wearing a kimono? Huh. Hey, mate, why is Freddie Mercury wearing a kimono? Now, this man opened the interaction with the words, hey, mate. Our eyes met, right? I was the mate. Case closed. Then he said, why is Freddie Mercury wearing a kimono? I looked around, there was nobody else there. I was persons 1 and 2 in the rhetorical question. I've never met this man, and already, grammatically, I'm on the back foot. I wasn't going to put up with that. You would have been proud of me. You can't show any weakness. I summoned up every ounce of testosterone in my body. And I fired it ocularly at this chap. And I said, I think you'll find that this is a smoking jacket. I showed the bugger. There's a lot that's not made sense, though, and one of the things that I still struggle with to this day is how uptight us Brits are. I didn't realise in the UK, how are you is a rhetorical question. How are you is a rhetorical question. If somebody from the UK asks you how you are and you tell them, they would be mortified. Now, there are geographical anomalies, I'm delighted to say. If you ask somebody from Liverpool how they are, they will tell you. 10 times out of 10, and I love them for that. Now, from personal experience, they oscillate wildly between two very distinctively different states. The first one is thus. How am I? I'm sound, mate. I'm buzzing. I'm having a belter. Do you know what? Work's sound. Air indoors is sound. Even our Anthony's being sound. Look at the weather, lad, cracking the flags. I love you, cadet. Apologies for the accent, by the way. I have the ability to blend in seamlessly with my environment wherever I go. I feel an energy, I match it, we become almost indistinguishable. Silly. Now, that's the first state. Now, the second state of Scouse being is rather different, and it is as follows. I'm fuming, lad. Don't you start, lad. I am fuming here, mate. I'm fuming. I am fuming. I'm up the wall with work. I've seen me arse with my dad. Everton to being shite again. You're doing my fucking head in. I am fumigating here, kid.
There's other younger people in the room, right? You know what I mean. You have only ever known a time in your life when you're trying not to get pregnant or trying not to get somebody else pregnant. And I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but on both accounts, I fucking smashed it. I think it comes down to skill set at the end of the day, doesn't it? People are just good at different things. Some people are good at the violin. Some people are good at parallel parking. I was very good at taking the pill. Every day, every day, every day. Honestly, I used to think I was so good at taking the pill, I deserved a reward. Arguably, there was a reward. It was the reward of not having to watch Peppa Pig or cleaning up another human's shit. Tell you what I don't understand, right, is women who are on the pill and forget to take it. Don't get that. Because don't get me wrong, I forget things. I forget my keys, my wallet, the fact I'm married. Sure! But forgetting to take something that can prevent you from creating a human that could one day say, turn the machines off, is what she would have wanted. I'm going to remember that one, thank you. Obviously does happen, though. Women forget to take the pill, they get knocked up. Happened to a girl I used to work with, actually, when I used to work in an office, right? And we were chatting about it one day. She was so blasé. We're in the kitchen. She's just standing there rubbing her belly like, well, the thing is, I've just got really bad memory. I was thinking, that's funny, because every day without fail, you remember to steal my milk. Maybe if you'd strapped your packet of microgynon to my semi-skimmed... Stephen in accounts wouldn't be telling everyone how you trapped him. I think the reason I was always very good at remembering to take the pill, because I've been on it for so long. I was on it since I was about 16. And the reason I started taking it was because I was going out with my first boyfriend, Kevin Sutherland. A boom, chicka, wow, wow. He was quite the catch. He had a Peugeot 106 and a tattoo of Bart Simpson, which I thought showed a great joie de vivre. And things were going very well between Kevin and I. We had matching bracelets from Argos, so you can tell how serious we were. And we'd agreed that we were going to do it for the first time, right? So I was like, right, I put myself on the pill because my first time is going to be really special. My first time is going to be just like in the movies. So the big day arrived, and Kevin, bless him, he made such an effort for everything to be really perfect. Like, he paid his little brother to leave the room. to this day, the most romantic thing a man has ever done for me. And he made a mix CD of all of our favourite romantic songs. You know, like Boom, 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 Let Me Hear You Say Wayo. And as we lay down on his single bed, with his Liverpool FC duvet cover on it, the scent of Lynx Africa heavy in the air. And as Kevin took my virginity so beautifully and gently and quickly from behind, I remember thinking, wow, just like in the movies. Obviously, it's quite difficult to make eye contact in that position, isn't it? Almost felt like I lost my virginity to Stephen Gerrard. I'll never walk alone. I never will.
I read this thing, right, online, so it must be true, where everyone who's under the age of 30 is going to live till 160. Like, you look tired now. 160! I don't want to be sat in a flat, leaking, liver spotted. Your ears and nose, they never stop growing. I'm going to be sat there looking like I work at bloody Gringotts Bank, just like... And I think if I get to 160, I'm ending it. I don't know how you do it. What are you going to do? Sort of suffocate yourself with a bag for life? I reckon the best way, and maybe like a toaster in a bath situation, but it'd be one of those like sit-down baths with a chair and a door, and then you have to wait for it all to fill up. You put in a bit of matey for a last bit of luxury, and then you go, oh shit, I forgot the toaster, and then you have to wait for it all to drain. You open the door, you go out onto the landing, down a stair lift, into the kitchen, you go, what the bloody hell have I come in here for? It's never going to happen. I'm trying to do more nice things, though. That's what I'm trying to do. Because I've never really done anything with my life. I did a thing recently. I went to go and give blood for the first time. Has anyone ever done that? It's just one woman like, yeah, I did it today. It's amazing, but I thought you did it in like a hospital or like a sanitised medical centre. You don't. You do it in like a rugby club or like a methadone church, right? I turned up to this bingo hall near my nan's house, right? I was greeted by the second moodiest person I've ever seen in my life. It was a woman called Linda. Like, her name badge said Jean, but she looked like a Linda. Do you know what I mean? Like short bob, gelled fringe, good at darts. She weren't happy. I turned up, she goes, have you got an appointment? And I went, no. And she goes, have you filled out a form? And I went, no. And then she threw this form at me, and as I'm walking off, she goes, thank you very much for giving blood. We really appreciate it. Giving blood is the greatest gift anyone could ever receive. And I'm thinking, Linda's never been given a slow cooker. So, take this form, I start filling it out. I had to use this woman's eyeliner because Linda wouldn't lend me a pen. Just filling it all out. And as I said, the only reason I went to go and give blood is make myself feel like I'd done something with my life. And instead, I'm faced with all these very serious adult questions. It was things like, have you ever been to Africa? And I'm like, no. And he goes, have you ever had sex with a man? And I'm like, no. And he goes, have you ever had sex with a prostitute? And I thought, I've done fucking nothing with my life. Nothing. Have you injected drugs? Have you smoked drugs? Have you had any treatments in the last 6 months? I panicked. I went, oh, well, me and my mum have had facials off Groupon. Not the right answer. Weirdest question, are you HIV positive? I was like, what? Like, no. Like, if anything, I'm against it. And then they took me off into this room, and there's all these sort of like Sharons and Johns lay on beds with sort of needles in their arms. Like, it looked like a spa day for smackheads. Put a belt round my arm, not even a nice belt. They spanked it a bit, they told me to relax, and then they whipped out the biggest flipping needle I've ever seen in my life, and I just fainted. Completely fainted. I can hear all these muffled voices, and then I can hear Linda's bellowing voice just going, I knew he'd be a fainter. I'm like... By the time I'd come around, all these people are trying to help me out, and Linda just parted them. And her way of trying to make me feel better, her way of trying to make me feel like a proper grown-up was going, would you like a glass of orange juice and a biscuit? I was like, no, Linda, I want to have sex with an African gay man for money. That's what I want to bloody do.
It's lovely to be here. I've come all the way from Brighton. Just in case you're wondering what this haircut is about. Might be a new face for some of you people. Don't panic, the BBC invited me here because they needed a beige lesbian. So I'm just here to tick some boxes. Not your box, madam, just a metaphorical box. I'm half Spanish, that's what's happening there. I've got a Spanish mum, and she lives here in the UK. It's all very legal. She's lived longer in the UK than she's ever lived in Spain, but the brilliant thing about my mum is that she's never lost her accent. She's doing very, very good. Lost words she cannot pronounce. Lost words she cannot pronounce, huh? My favourite word that my mum's never been able to pronounce is my brother's name. It's not even a difficult name, his name's Stephen. I don't know if you've noticed this, Spanish people, any word that begins with the letter S, they struggle, right? So my mum doesn't call him Stephen, she calls him Steven. What's his name, Mum? Steven. Is it? Isn't it just Stephen? Jennifer, I know his name is my son. It is Steven! You don't want to mess with my mum. She's not like British people here in this country. We can be quite passive-aggressive, can't we? She's just very aggressive woman. I don't know how my mum's never really coped in this country, and I think it's because, like a lot of Mediterranean people, she's quite loud, yeah? She's got one volume, it's like this. Hello! How are you? Whereas in this country, particularly if we're middle class, we tend to be low talkers, don't we? We don't like to raise our voices, do we? Why? Because we've got money. Let me just assume that if you are raising your voice, well, you're probably poor. Or worse, foreign. Great thing about having a Mediterranean mum is they feed you. Oh, my God. She's always feeding. That's her way of showing that she loves her children, is to feed us. You know, I can remember going around friends' houses, you know, like English mums. Go around an English mum's house and the conversation with mum's more like this. I think you've had enough. My mum will feed you till you puke. Anything could be going on in my life and my mum will relate it back to a meal that she's cooked. Do you know what I mean? Like, so good or bad, particularly if I'm depressed. If I phone up my mum and I've had a terrible day, yeah? I phone up my mum, conversation always goes like this. Oh, Jennifer, my God, I'm so sorry to hear that you're having a hard time right now. But you know what? Don't worry, okay? I made a soup. Come home. You sound hungry. I made a chicken curry, I made a lamb tagine, I made a casserole, Jennifer. I made some tortillas, some paella, some curry, Jennifer. You love curry, maybe some meatballs, some pork ball, beef ball, aniseed ball, banana ball. You're a lesbian. You don't eat enough balls. Please, come home. Eat my balls.
Do you love London? I love London. I feel like London is created by the people, right? Who are just crazy and sexy and ambitious. I got into an Uber the other day, not bragging, and I got into an Uber and the driver, he said, would you like to have the radio on? And I was like, oh, I don't mind, it's up to you. And then he said, well, actually, I make my own music. Do you mind if I put some of that on? No, I don't. And then he put on Drake's new album. I wonder how often it works. I wonder how often there's a middle-aged white woman thinking, oh, well, he looks like Aladdin and he sounds like confidence personified. Pull over and jump in the back, Nikolai. I'm having a good life. I have recently started doing yoga, which is just Yes, woo for the yoga over there. Are you a team? Come to... I'm new to it. I love it. Yoga has changed my life. It's brilliant. Yoga is my new drug. My old drug was drugs.
which I'm not going to say anything positive about because it would be incredibly irresponsible. I'm not going to say anything positive about drug taking. What I will say is I didn't take MDMA until I was 32, and it was such a relief to know I could be happy. Just assume the equipment's broken. But yoga is nearly as good, and there's no downsides. It's given me a whole new language. My favourite new word is namaste. Yeah, it's a very old word, it's very sacred, and it means the yoga has finished now. And then you're allowed to leave. I think that the key to being happy as you get older is self-acceptance. Like, I have to accept things about myself now. Like, I'm 36, I thought I would have children by now, and I don't. In an ideal world, what I wanted to self-fertilise. I wanted to have children that were exactly my genetics so that I could show them to my parents and go, see, it was my childhood, they're fine. Science can't do that yet. And then I had a crazy day last month where I just thought, I'm just going to buy some sperm. I'm just going to buy some sperm off the internet. I've got a good job. I'm just going to buy some sperm. Guys, sperm is so much more expensive than I thought it was going to be. It is tens of thousands of pounds. We are all wasting a valuable resource. 17-year-old me would have been a millionaire if I'd learned how to catch it and chuck it in the freezer. It's a shock. I do think self-acceptance is the key. Like, there's things about myself I don't like, but I just have to accept now that they're not going to change. This is who I am. Like, so for instance, I don't like art. I think art is rubbish. I think lots of people think art is rubbish, but we're too worried of looking stupid, so we go along with it. I think that the worst art form is theatre. Right, okay, I can sense how unpopular this opinion is. Hear me out. I think theatre is diabolical. Look, I do, look, and also, I'm aware, if you are a performer of some kind, if you're an actor, look, please don't be offended. I don't mean being in the play. Obviously, if you're the person in the play that gets to put a wig on and walk up and down and move your arms and project your voice, saying things like, I think you'll find you're contradicting yourself, Alan. Fun. Having to watch it. Dear Christ. I can't concentrate. I can't lose myself in the story. I know that it's not real because I'm surrounded by people eating crisps. And they don't let you look at your phone. So all you're thinking is, well, how long has it been?
I've made a list of pros and cons because I've been spending a lot of time in brothels and prisons. Made a list of pros and cons, always good, give you a bit of balance, Con, complete loss of all feelings of hope and possibility. It doesn't sound very good, does it? It doesn't sound much fun, does it? Pro, increased plug socket access. 1-1. I say increased, it's actually total plug socket access. I've got 32 plug sockets in my house, each and every one of them is now under my sole domain. Con, all experiences that formed the basis of my happiness and sense of self-worth are now destroyed by grief. Downer! A bit of a downer, isn't it? Pro, less recycling. I can fit it all in the green box now. It's remarkable when you take into account just how much I'm drinking. Oh, John, you're meant to heat mulled wine. All right, Your Highness, hand me the bottle and leave. Con, I'm gonna lose me house. Bit of fun. Pro, 25% off council tax. I was on that like a ferret. Dialing as the door slammed. And that's us fresh out of cons. The rest are just pros, guys. Yeah. Increased freezer space, all 4 drawers. Cheaper gas and electric. Reduced wear and tear on fixtures and fittings. And when I say reduced, I don't mean by half, because I was only ever responsible for about 10% of scuffs and spills. So we're looking at a net reduction of 90% in real terms. This is my favourite one. Ultimate control over where the iPhone charger cable is and why it is there. There was a time it would take hours to answer the questions, where is the iPhone charger cable and why is it there? Not anymore. Plugged in next to the bed, most convenient place to have it. Simple. Is it unplugged in the bathroom? No, it's not. Be a ludicrous place to keep it. There's no plug socket in the bathroom. Is it in the front pocket of a rucksack you no longer use? That'll be the last place you look. That'll be very frustrating. Is it plugged in on a train we have alighted from? No. It's plugged in next to the bed because that's the most convenient place to have it.